Hey fish friends, Zenzo with Tazawa Tanks, back with another video. So before I get started, I got to apologize about my attire. I'm actually kind of rushing to get a bunch of stuff done. I've got to fly out early in the morning to a meeting in Denver tomorrow. So it's kind of late in the evening. I just got home from the gym and filmed a little bit of stuff earlier today. And actually, I'm down here. I've got to service a bunch of tanks. I've got to clean all my tanks because I'm going to be gone for about 3 days, and it's just the cycle for cleaning them. So I've got to hurry up and do that. And I didn't have time to change or anything like that. I just came in here and started filming. So apologize for the tank top and the bro gear, I guess. But anyway, just made a quick little video to show some really exciting Mbuna food. It's kind of a custom food that I have created, but it's not like it's proprietary to me or anything like that. It's something that all of you can do with just normal ingredients that you can buy at the grocery store, and and then using fish foods that you would buy at your local fish store. So go ahead and stay tuned and watch my little clip here. So one of the things about Mbuna is that they really need to have a diet that's very heavy on the veggie side. So a lot of times, you know, you're going to purchase like a veggie-based pellet formula, such as this Northfin veggie formula, or you can, you know, give them things such as like the seaweed, which is called green marine algae, but it's like a seaweed salad kind of a thing, or giving them fresh vegetables. So zucchini is very popular and things like that. The problem is with you know, some of these things, you know, it might be difficult to keep it from floating. So for example, if you were to cut and slice zucchini and place it in a tank, it's going to float. There are clips that you can purchase, or you can kind of do your own DIY system where you can, you know, attach it, affix it to the side of the glass or something like that, or, you know, wedge it under a rock or something. But, you know, that can be not always easy. And the thing with those clips is they can get really, really stinky, and they can hold a lot of leftover food and start to contaminate the water. That happens often with the seaweed salad, for the leftover seaweed that's left on the clip. So there is a remedy to this, and I've been kind of playing around with a product called Repashy. So this is a food. This one's happened to be called Soylent Green, which is kind of a funny name, but this is their kind of their plant-based or algae-based food. And so some of the like spirulina algae, algae meal, krill meal, pea protein, etc. Black soldier fly larva. So this comes in a powder form. Here you can see that I have some measured out here, and it's just a powder, and really it acts like a gelatin, like Jello. So if you remember when you were younger and you would make Jello, or when you're older and you were making Jello shots, basically it's the same principle. So you have a powder, you mix it with boiling water, and you let it set, and then you have kind of a gelatin-based product. So here I've gone ahead and pre-boiled some water. So I've got some water in the Pyrex, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to mix the Repashy in the boiling water, and from there I will show you the next steps. So I have the Repashy mixed. I just whisked it very quickly in the boiling water. Once you get to this point, it's very important to act quickly because it will coagulate or thicken pretty rapidly once it starts to cool. So all I'm going to do is I'm just taking a tray like this. I've got a couple trays here, and I am going to pour a little bit of the Repashy in the tray, kind of get like a base layer. Dripping, but got a little base layer going, as you can see. I'm going to take my zucchini and I'm going to lay it right in the Repashy, and then I'm going to cover up the zucchini. And you don't really have to go in this step. You can just throw the zucchini in there and kind of take a butter knife or spoon and cover it up. And anyway, just like that, it's a Repashy zucchini blend. So in this example, you can see that it's just a simple way of
covering the zucchini. Obviously it's adding nutrients. The rapashi is wonderful. They love it. They go crazy for it. But what's going to happen is this is now no longer going to float because the rapashi sinks to the bottom of the tank. So I'm just going to throw a little bit more in there. So when I cut it out, I can put that whole piece of zucchini in the tank and it will sink to the bottom. So in addition to doing it for vegetables, you can also throw in your favorite blend of you know, flake food or pellet food or anything like that. Frozen peas, I just have a few examples here of some things that I use. So I'm just going to get the rest of that rapashi in there. So in this instance, I have more rapashi. I can take some peas, because peas also have a tendency to float. So if I wanted my fish to have peas, maybe I need to ensure that they're, you know, not having any trouble passing their food and things like that. I can also take like a cichlid formula if I wanted to have a little bit higher protein mix. I could take the veggie formula. I'm actually going to use some of this cichlid Excel from Hikari. And I like these pellets, but they float. So it doesn't really work in my Mbuna tank because I have an overflow. And so they float all over the place. So I'm just going to take some pellets, sprinkle it around in here. Just kind of set them in the rapashi. So then there's pellets. So that's another way of kind of hot rodding your cichlid food. And then the other thing that you can do is you can take some of these seaweed sheets, and if you've played around with these before, you know that the fish generally like them, but they also float around and they get all over the place, and not always the best. So here I'm just going to take this and I'm going to put it right in here, and this is going to soak into the rapashi. So I'm just going to kind of poke it around and cover the seaweed with the rapashi. And then later on I can come back with a knife and slice through it, and you kind of have like a seaweed fortified rapashi. So not only are your fish getting the benefits of the rapashi and all of the ingredients that are in there, but also they are getting some additional fiber and seaweed and things like that. So I'm just going to throw some more peas in here since I have them out. I'll probably throw some peas in that other one that I made. I'm going to throw some more pellets in here just because. And just like that, you have a kind of a fun cichlid entree that is unique, totally customizable, and very beneficial to your fish. It's going to give them some, you know, kind of some neat behavior, watching them kind of attack these little chunks that you cut up. So it's been about 15 minutes or so. This has cooled down. You can see that it is coagulated. So nice and thick there. It's like Jell-O. Doesn't taste like Jell-O though. I'm sure I'm not going to try it. And then here's the other one that I made with the zucchini, and I threw some extra peas in there. This is the one with the seaweed and the pellets and the peas. And then here's another one that I had already made, and I just wanted to show you, and I'll cut up a piece and throw this in the Mbuna tank just so you can see it kind of falling. But here you can see that it's just like a piece of super firm Jell-O kind of. This one has some of the cichlid pellets embedded in there and seaweed as well. So I'll just throw this in there, it'll sink to the bottom, and they'll start nibbling on it, and it'll last, depending on how big of a piece you put in there and what's in it, depends on how long it lasts. So like if I were to throw a piece of zucchini in there covered in rapashi, it'll last a full day, if not longer. You know, if I throw it in the morning, it'll go into the evening, and probably by the morning it's completely gone, which is nice. And a chunk like this will just last a couple of hours.
So I hope that that was informative to you. I hope that I've enlightened you with a new and exciting recipe for your Mbuna. And it doesn't have to be just for Mbuna. That's just kind of what I specifically made this food for. But I've also used it for my plecos. There are other fish. I'll even throw it in the peacock and hap tank sometimes, minus all the vegetables in there. But I'll throw the rapashi in there and they'll gobble it up. And there's nothing wrong with that. So anyway, that's all I had for today. And I hope you enjoyed this quick little video. As always, thanks for watching. Really appreciate your viewership. Thanks for subscribing if you are a subscriber. If you aren't, what are you waiting for? Click that button. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you on the next one.